Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Contest Chair, Madam Toastmaster, fellow contestants, guests, and anyone who happened to accidentally wander into the room is now too embarrassed to leave. Thank you for joining us and welcome. So I was thinking about levity and what makes something funny. Now if you ask my mother, she will say it's pretty much anything that I say. But then again, she is inherently biased because I am hilarious. I did do a little bit of research though, and I discovered something very interesting, is that there is a science to humor and a formula for funny. And I give credit to Peter McGraw, a researcher in the US, who came up with the two basic points which link to our humor, and it is through this that we are trained. And that might surprise you. The one is aggression and relief. Now, what do they have to do with each other? Well, I'm very glad you asked, because if you consider where we receive our training in humor, it's when we're little. So when you go up to a baby and you go, peekaboo, there is that initial surprise on the baby's face because there is a perceived threat. But as soon as it realizes that that threat is benign, there comes a relief. And so comes the smile and the laugh. So let's take a little older example. A 6-year-old girl by the name of Brooke. Now, Brooke's little letter to her mom went viral on the internet a few years ago. And it read like this. Dear Mom, thank you so much for being my mom. If I had a different mom, I would punch her in the face and go find you. Love, Brooke. Now, the question is, what is the threat or the aggression in this little note? It's the face punch. But what makes it okay? It's because it comes from a place of love. And that is exactly what Peter McGraw was talking about, is you have a threat or a violation, and you have relief or a benign. And when you find where those circles coincide, that conflux is called a benign violation. And that is where the humor lies. Now, a benign violation is also what's referred to when you don't listen to your wife when you know you should. That's just putting that out there. But let's take this to a more adult context. I was in a restaurant in Hermanus a little while ago, and I came across a very interesting sign. Now, the sign read, unattended children will be fed a Red Bull and given a free puppy. Now, clearly the threat, the violation there is towards the unattentive parents. Okay, we can understand that much. But now, let's say, for example, we take this sign and we move it completely over to the benign. What would it say then? Well, quite simply, please don't leave children unattended. There's nothing really funny about that at all. In fact, it's quite tame. Let's take it the other side and we go completely to the violation. Then it reads, unattended children will be sold as slaves. Now, clearly in 2018, that's not okay. And this crosses several lines. So, having put all that together, I decided to have a look at this benign violation in terms of a friend of mine. So I went to a couple of friends and I said, do you have some examples of when you've experienced this yourself? And they thought about it. And one of my friends came back, his name's Gary. Gary went to Australia to visit some family in Perth. Now, Gary's a very upstanding gentleman. He's very, very down the line. He obeys the law, he pays his taxes, it's all very good. But sometimes when you go to another country, you forget that there are little cultural differences between you. Yes, even in Australia. And what happened was that Gary forgot that one of those cultural differences is that Australian police tend to be a little bit more strict when it comes to policing traffic speed than we are here. So he was pulled over by a state trooper. And the gentleman got out of his car, walked up to Gary's window, knocked on the window and said, "Excuse me, sir, license and registration, please." Gary dutifully handed over the documents. The trooper looked at the documents, looked at Gary, looked again at the documents, looked again at Gary. And he said, "I'm sorry, sir, but according to these documents here, you need to be wearing glasses." Gary turned to him and very respectfully says, "Oh, no, sir, I don't need to wear glasses, I have contacts." And he says, "Oh, I don't care who you know, you need to be wearing glasses." Now, that was pretty easy in terms of finding that balance, that sweet spot. If it was in South Africa, that sweet spot would probably be more along the lines of a pie and a Coke and maybe a 10 rand slipped under the dashboard. So, there is a science to humour, and there is a formula for funny. The question is, do the judges agree? Well, it's funny you should say that.